welcome to the CN8 Candlepin Challenge, a production of the International Candlepin Bowling Association and CN8 Sports. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back. John Holt with Dan Murphy and Trina Fernandez. We are back. Many of our great bowlers are back for another season, but also a lot of new, exciting changes, Dan.
That's right. This sixth season, big things happening. We changed the wardrobe of the bowlers, first of all, but along with that, the format is the same. Challengers match, winner of that goes into the championship, the two-game match. That hasn't changed. The big prizes at the end haven't changed, but we are offering bonus money to the bowlers this year. $50 for 3 consecutive marks and $50 for each consecutive mark after that string starts in the same game. And something for you people that you come down and watch the tapings, we're having an audience participation. So we're going to get one person out of the audience every week, time permitting. They're going to throw one box. 10 or under, we'll give you $1 per pin. If you get a spare, you get $50. If you get the strike, and it's called the strike challenge, if you get a strike, we give you $100 to start out with, but that's going to be bumped up $25 each week. So some big bucks. So make sure you listen to when the next taping is so you can get down here and have your name drawn.
Look forward to all those changes starting today. First, though, Trina Fernandez standing by with the challengers. Trina.
Thank you very much, John. I'm here with Mike Macintosh and Gary Carrington. And Gary, we'll start with you. This is the first time you've been on the show in quite some time. New season, quite a way to kick off the year. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I've been bowling okay. I bowled all summer. I didn't bowl all that great over the summer, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. It's a new season. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, good luck to you today. And I understand that you know this guy over here, Mike, your old friends.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be like to bowl against your pal today?
No, you couldn't pick a better person to put in front of me. I'm very excited to bowl against him. It's been a few years as well for me since I've been on the show, and I'm ready to go as well.
Excellent. Well, you're both looking very sharp, I have to say. I'm digging the new shirts. Back over to you, John.
I like him as well, Trina. Thank you. Steve Renaud, our reigning champ from our last show, our last regular season show, which we had back away in June. It's been about 3 months.
Yeah.
You've been thinking about this since?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I've tried to stay in shape this summer, and just very excited to be here again today. I'm hoping I brought my A game, but it remains to be seen.
Well, it's always nice to have you. Good luck.
Thanks, John.
We're back with the Challengers match right after this on the CN8 Candlepin Challenge. Welcome back to the with Trina Fernandez and our CNA crew. Our opening week of the CN8 Candlepin Challenge for this season. Glad you're with us. And again, the challengers that Trina introduced you to. Mike Macintosh to go first, taking on Gary Carrington. Just one game determining the winner in this match. The winner advancing to take on Steve Renaud. Mike first, lane 35, and he will open by dropping 5.
And not a very easy spare leave to begin with. 2 and 5, and then the back row 7, 8, and 10. No wood to play. All right.
Leaves that back row. That's an 8 to open with for Mike. Over to 36, Mike from Newburyport, Massachusetts. And as you watch this show in early October, Mike is due to get married in about 2 weeks' time.
Some extra cash for that honeymoon. Drops 8. 3-pin almost goes, but he's got the 3 and the 10. A couple pieces of wood out in front. Should help him.
Looking for the first mark of this match.
Oh boy. Completely missed it to the right. The only place he could miss that spare, probably. So a tactical error on Mike Macintosh early in the match. Remember, this is only one game. It's a sprint to the finish.
8 and 9 for a total of 17 for Mac. Now it's Gary Carrington stepping in from Plastown, New Hampshire.
One of the premier Candlepin bowlers. Probably isn't a bowling show he hasn't been on over the years, and probably isn't a tournament he hasn't won.
Right through that opening. Looking at 8 pins.
Oh, a rough start for Gary, just 5.
That's okay, just warming up. This is warming up.
Steve Renaud was not our overall champion from last year. That was Jeff Surrett, who repeated, making it 2 years in a row. But Steve was the last regular season winner, so back this week. 9-pin drop.
Leaves the 7-pin.
Steve will take on either Mike or Gary. And we've got our first mark. Spare for Gary Carrington in the second box.
After that rough start, Gary drops 9, picks up the 7-pin, as John said, for the first mark. Remember, even in the Challengers match, we're giving the bonus money away. 3 consecutive marks, $50 and $50 for everyone in succession after that in the same game. 1, 2, 4, and 8 pins left for Mike Macintosh. Oh, wow. How did he not carry the 8-pin? Couldn't hit it any better than that. I think Mike thought, and the rest of the crowd here thought he had that mark. 27.
Look at the replay. How did the 8 not go?
I saw it, still don't believe it. But
Still difficult to explain. Box 4 now.
oh boy, buried that one. He leaves a 5 and the 7.
Pretty straightforward approach here. Wood's not going to be a factor. Going at the kingpin. Got it, but not the 7.
Tried to cut the 5 into the 7. It's not on the same plane. That 5-pin is a few inches out in front. You're able to cut it over, but it's a delicate shot.
36 the total for Mike. 4 boxes in. Now Gary, of course, a third of the way to being our first $50 winner. 3 marks in a row. Had a spare there in the second. Now the fill in the third. Fill of 8. See if he can get that second mark in a row.
Just looking at the 5 and the 9. Clear shot at it.
Misses to the left. And he gets it that time. 1 ball too late.
Might remember the name Carrington, because last year when we had the youth bowlers on, Mike Carrington was, his son was with us.
Drop of 5.
It's another change in the show also. We're going to bring the kids back for an extra 4 weeks. There'll be 8 weeks of the youth bowling this year. In about a month and a half, we'll have 4 weeks, and they'll have another 4 weeks in the springtime, or late winter, I guess. We'll give you more about that when that comes up.
So 4 boxes in the books. 43-36, 7-pin advantage for Gary. Mike's still looking for that first mark. We've yet to see a strike. Just 1 mark. A spare for Carrington in the second. They'll have an opportunity right here. The 2-4-7.
Well, this is the object pin, that 2-pin.
Not leaving a lot of pins. Couple 10 boxes, couple 9s and an 8, but no marks yet. 46 through 5.
Hey!
Yes, strike! Mike Macintosh, the first strike of the season.
Take a look at that strike from our pin cam. 5 in the 8 pins. There goes the 5, topples into the 8 for his first mark, and it's a big one.
Gary takes out 6.
Looking at the 3, 6, 10 in the right and the 8 pin in the back.
Wood out front.
Oh, leaves
10.
Leaves the 10. Actually, the last 2 pins that Mike knocked down for the strike were the 5 and the 9, not 5 and the 8. We're first week of the season. We're a little rusty on the pins.
Oh, that is a 10 box to boost Gary to 53. But now he's opposite that strike in the 6. This should be a key frame, I imagine, in the big picture. See if he can match it.
He's nursing a 7-pin advantage, as you can see on the scoreboard. Ball right in there, and he gets the 5 and 10 left. Earlier it was Mike with the 5-7. He's trying to tell the piece of wood to stay on. I wonder if he'll try that piece of wood, and hopefully something will come out of the channel, and the ball will take the other pin. He's able to get something out, but
so a big fill coming up for Mike Macintosh in just a minute. The bowlers each open in 5 of the first 6 frames, but now Macintosh filling that strike.
Just missed making that spare.
2-ball fill here in the 7th.
Good break off the head pin, dropping 8, leaving the 1 and the 9.
Looking for 2 marks in a row. Got it.
Got it, and a difficult spare it was. Chance for $50 in bonus money if he can throw another striker spare in this frame. Take a look. Head pin, the head pin goes right down and take the 9 pin out. 4-pin advantage now. Box is completed. Oh, just 2. It's going to be a great spare if he was going to get that $50 in bonus money.
How many of the 8 can he get? 6
Good
of
effort
them.
there.
One more. 87 through 8 for Mike Macintosh.
So he's just a mark away, is Gary Carrington. Trailing by just 4, opposite a spare 2. Well, he's off the head pin, but a decent break. 1, 3, 6, and 9.
His second mark.
It's a piece of wood to come off the wall for that 6-pin. Actually, the ball came off the channel, off the piece of wood in the channel, and took out that 6-pin for his second mark. Both spares.
7, he'll go ahead. How about 9?
He regains the lead by 3. He may, from this angle, that looks like that could be a tough piece of wood out in front of the 5-pin. I don't know if he can get by it or not. He might be able to.
2 marks in a row.
Oh,
Yes.
Just powered the ball right straight through the wood. Second mark, leading by 4, and boy, chance to take a commanding lead when he gets up there, unless Mike can throw a couple marks here.
Pressure's on Mike Macintosh here in 9 and 10.
You figure Mike needs at least 1 mark, and probably 2. Oh, that was a big ball there. The 7-pin left. Has a choice here. I'm guessing he's going to go right at the 7-pin, though.
So he comes up clutch with a mark of his own in the ninth.
He's not quite old enough to take that other choice, playing the wood. Me, I've been all over that piece of wood.
Final box now. This is a big fill ball, of course.
He needs a decent fill and another mark to put a little pressure on Gary. Wants one more. Fill is good, but now he wants that wood to roll as far to the left as it can. Right now it's getting to the point where he could carom the ball off that. He's below the red line. The ball's got a chance of taking out that 7-pin and the wood taking out the 6.
Was it the wood?
No, just slid by.
Not
Good
the
effort.
7.
Now he's going to need some help from Gary when he gets up to fill that mark.
The total checks in at 115 for Mike. Gary, of course, now going for the $50 bonus, looking for mark number 3 in a row here in the ninth.
It's more important. He's leading by 4 pins through the 8th frame. It is opposite a spare 8, so he can't afford to make a mistake on the spare. And he didn't.
Fills it up with 8.
He'll not need another mark, but he will have to pin out the last 2 boxes. You got the 5-10. You're going to snap the wood? Not quite. These are all big pins. Leads by 3. By 3. 7 to tie, 8 to win.
Good competitive challengers match here in week 1 of the new season. Steve Renaud, the reigning champ, awaiting either Macintosh or Carrington. That gets him 6. Pulls him to within a pin of Macintosh's total. Good pin cam look at what he's facing.
A lot of choices here. Get everything moving. There's the win right there.
So he gets it, 116, 115 right now. He'll get this one more ball. Close finish. And it's a 2-pin victory for Gary Carrington. 117, 115. Good matchup between 2 skilled Candlepin bowlers. So now, Carrington to meet Steve Renaud. It's the 2-game championship match, starting next on CN8. Back for the championship match. It is Gary Carrington having advanced on the left there from the challengers match to meet Steve Renaud. Steve will go first. 2 games to determine this week's champ. Steve from Southbridge, Massachusetts. Good to have him back. Glad to have you. Week 1 of the new season of the CN8 Candlepin Challenge. 8 fall.
Good break off the head pin. The head pin plus the 10 pin and a couple pieces of wood. He catches the head pin. He's got a real chance of opening up with a first box mark. Actually, I almost got it by missing the head pin.
Looking at only the 10. Nothing has changed with tracking the top 2 game totals. We'll continue to do that this season for the top 3 2-game totals for our final show of the year. That's a long way away, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that as usual. Jeff Surratt was the guy who won in that championship show a year ago, 2nd time in a row.
Big 8-pin drop again for Steve Renaud. This time is the 5 and the 9, and this time he has a little bit of a roadblock. Might need some help off the wall for the 9. Nope, drives the ball straight through. Good shot.
Spare for Steve in the 2nd. Not a Gary who posted a 117 in that 1-game challengers match, won by 2 pins over Mike Macintosh.
Oh, I think the 5-pin was going, and that piece of wood stood it back up and pushed it a little bit toward the 8-pin. So you get the 5 and 8 with a piece of plank in front of it. Piece of wood should be no problem at all for Gary Carrington opening up the match. Be a good trivia question. Who will be the first bowler to collect $50 in bonus money?
I have a feeling we're going to see it between one of these two right here in the championship match.
I'm surprised we didn't see it in the Challengers match, really honest with you, but he wants one more to go, and this will be a great one to keep the string alive. The 7 and the 8, a piece of wood. Well, it's a little better looking from the pin cam from my view. He's got a chance at this. No.
The 7 still up. So one open frame, one mark for each bowler in the first two. Now we'll see what Steve does on his fill. Gary having posted an 8 with his fill opportunity. Steve sporting the 120 average.
Pulling the ball a little bit to the left. Hasn't got that good release point yet for Steve. That's 6 on a spare. And again, just sliding by to the left. And a 10 box.
He's at 36 now. Steve is involved with a Candlepins for Kids program on local cable, and Southbridge does a terrific job at that.
He's a real promoter of the game of Candlepin, especially to the youth.
Yeah, one of those two to go. Looking at just 2 on the left now.
2 in the 4 pins. He was able to kick out the 6 and a 10. Sliding by on the right this time. Remember, the triple strike pool is still in effect. Anyone who is able to accomplish that feat will split the $1,000 with everyone who does during the season. And of course, last year, Craig Holbrook took the whole pot home. He was the only one to accomplish a triple strike.
Gary's average, as you saw, 132. He gets 7 to go.
Been doing that for 2 years. I wonder if anyone can remember who hit the strike pool the year before last. Give you a hint, there was more than one person. Answer in a minute.
Can you whisper it in my ear before? Gets the 4 and the 7, leaves that 10.
The truck just got one of the names.
Misses the 10. That's a 9 for Gary, up to 37.
They just try to guess another name, but they're wrong.
Over to 36, his 4th box, and he knew it. Not a good roll there.
I may be wrong, but I think the person threw a triple strike to beat the second person in the match, and when that person came back, he threw a triple strike to take some of the $1,000 away from the original person who knocked him. Is this confusing, folks? Det Klein and Mike Poulin. Those are the two.
May have our first Earl sighting of the young season.
Yes,
there you
are.
go.
He's slimming down.
Summer of conditioning serving him well, apparently.
Yes, Det Klein threw the triple strike, I believe, against Mike Poulin. And later on in the season, Mike Poulin came back, not against Det, but he was able to throw a triple strike himself, so he took some of that cash away from Det. Payback for throwing it against him, I guess.
2 9s in a row for Gary. Steve now in the 5th.
Wants the 7 or the 10 to go. very makeable. He's going to go after the 10-pin. Where Wood's configured, looks like one should fly over into the 7-pin. Oh, yes! Just enough. His second mark, both spares. There you go, flew in front of it. Luckily, it came in contact with the second piece of wood in the left-hand channel. Was able to kick it into the 7-pin. Now the fill. Strike!
All 10!
He had a 9-pin drop until he jumped, and that took care of the 6-pin. Little body English never hurts. Big splashing 9, just kicking out that, I think it was the 3 or the 6-pin, I believe.
Strike on spare. Now it's back to Gary. Can he match? Early statement from Steve Renaud in 5 and 6. 4 horsemen right for Carrington. Can't get that 6. 1, 3, and 10 went. So Gary is open after having that early spare for the last 4. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now he's opposite the strike. Just 2. Three more. Big fill by Steve, and he's going to put some solid distance between himself and Gary early. We'll see if Steve Renaud can pick up that bonus money, too. Be the first to do it with 3 marks in a row, and we come back on the CNA Candlepin Challenge. You know, it's always been fun to watch the Candlepin Challenge in person. Now there's another reason with our audience participation.
Absolutely right. And here's the next tape date is October 15th. Remember, we're having the strike challenge. We're going to draw somebody's name out of the audience. You have to be here. And they're going to throw 1 box. If they get the strike, they get whichever's in the jackpot. A spare is worth $50, and then $1 a pin from 10 on down. We're hoping you throw that strike. So October 15th, start about 9 in the morning. Get here early so you can get your name in the bin. And maybe you'll be the lucky winner of the strike challenge.
The lucky winner right now is Helen Fellows, who will bowl between games 1 and 2 of the championship match. Stay tuned for that in just a few minutes.
That's right.
Now, though, Steve with a chance to make it 3 marks in a row for the $50 bonus here in the 7th off the strike in the 6th.
Ooh, got a break there. When the 10-pin went down, and will that wood clear all 4 of them? I'm not so sure it will carry the 3-pin.
3, 6, 5, 9.
This is for $50. These bowlers can't stand this pressure at $50.
So it's a 9 box, 91. Steve also had a chance to really kind of put some distance between himself and Gary midway through this first game, but unable to make it 3 marks in a row. Still with a healthy advantage as he works in the 8th.
You want to keep the pressure on Gary Carrington, though. He's an accomplished Candlepin bowler, can explode at any time.
Open again. Consecutive 9s at the century mark now, and even 100 for Steve. First of 2 games to crown the champ.
Like I said, at any time.
And he does it in the 7th with a strike.
You see the mixing action. Looks like the 8 and 9 pins were the last 2 to go, but Gary doesn't care as long as the strike is posted on the scoreboard. Wants 2. was going to say he have a good break if the 10-pin went down. Well, the 10-pin went down, took a couple more, leaves himself just the 4, trying to go spare on strike, and right back in the match.
No. Picks it up that time for 10 bucks, and the advantage is at 8 pins, 8 complete, 100-92. Steve ahead. Again, just a couple frames away from our first Strike Challenge audience participation segment with the Helen Fellows this week, whose entry card was drawn from the audience submissions here at the Bowlerdrome.
Helen Fellows from the Concord, New Hampshire area. Actually, I think she's from Bow, my hometown, and I had nothing to do with the drawing, folks. Another mark for Steve Renaud.
He's got 4 of them now, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 9th. He's going to post up a good score in game 1.
Oh, and a strike on spare.
That score is going to get even better thanks to the strike.
Okay. You see the strike, and they just collapse. 6-pin falling forward. Now, if he was to throw the spare or another strike, we will give him $50. Even though it's the last box, we'll consider the fill another mark. That's going to be a good one.
Going to have to get all those 6 pins to do it.
Already at 134, though. Oh, just disappointing. 5.
So missed opportunity on a couple of fronts, but still a terrific score. 135 for Steve, and see what Gary's got in his tank here in 9 and 10 of game 1. He's at 92 through 8.
I'm sure he wants at least 1 mark up. They get in a little closer, but
up to the spare and a strike. 5 down, 5 up.
The 1, the 6, and then back row 7, 9, and 10. That close, the 10-pin stays.
$10 to move to 102. So at the moment he is some 33 pins behind Steve. Box to go for Gary Carrington. And it's going to be a big one. A strike. 2 more balls coming up.
Here's a look at that last strike. Just 5-pin, a little stubborn, but it finally goes. He'll drop 9 in that. Climbs a little closer.
121. $135 for Steve. That's a 14-pin advantage. Steve Renaud in the lead after game 1. Back for the start of game 2 and our audience participation next on CNA.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with our lucky audience member, Helen Fellows. Helen, where are you from?
I'm from Bow, New Hampshire, Bow Center. I want to say hi to everybody at White Rock.
All right. Hi to everybody at White Rock. All right, Helen. How you feeling?
Good.
All right. I want you to touch them all. All right?
Okay.
Go get them. All right.
Helen's all set to go. Let's see what she can do. The crowd certainly behind her with a chant of Helen.
Get over, Helen. Get over! Oh! Get over! Yeah!
Incredible start to the strike challenge. That is $100, folks, for Helen Fellows. out.
Oh, that is great. All right.
Unbelievable. Standing ovation. Oh,
He doesn't need a second or third ball. One and done.
Oh, my.
Cool, calm, collected. And now $100 richer. Check it out on the replay.
Wasn't sure he had enough there. Swung around and just catches the 10-pin. So, folks, next week it'll be worth just 100 again because Helen took it this week. All right, Gary Carrington is up on the lanes, and we'll continue with the match after the audience kind of calms down.
Gary down by 14 pins to refresh your memory, 135-121. Unable to match Helen with that first ball.
No. He'd probably give her 150 for the strike if he could use it.
He will be open here, box 1, game 2. Trying to catch Steve Renaud. It's one of the more magical moments in the 6-year run of this program.
Unbelievable. There she's.
Let's look at our heroine.
Helen, breathe in, breathe out. Relax. Gary over on lane 36, drops 6, 2, 4, 5, and 7 left. And it's a mark in the second for Gary, trying to erase that 14-pin deficit.
Good job, Helen.
Take a second look at the spare. All 4 going down. I see marks in the second. Now it's Steve with that solid 135 posted game 1. Here he goes, start of his second game. On the head pin, gets 6 to go. Leaves the 3-6 and 4-7. He will be open. That crowd reaction was just priceless when Helen won her $100.
The sad part of it is I don't think she knew. She threw it and dropped 9, and she turned around. I don't think she saw the last pin go down. She'll have to watch it.
Opposite the spare now is Steve here. Second box. Crowd still buzzing about that debut of the audience participation. Strike challenge. That is a 6-pin drop for Steve.
The diamond leave, 2, 4, 5, and 8 for Steve. Trying to match marks put up by Gary in the second, and that close.
The fill now for Gary Carrington in the third. Again, if you're just tuning in, week 1 here, some new wrinkles, including audience participation. And watch Helen.
See, right here, she doesn't know. Now, see, she turns around, and then it goes. I don't think she knows yet. Oh, there she goes. I did get a strike.
That's priceless.
Good going, Helen. Just 5 in this fill for Gary. He goes to the left of those 4 horsemen.
Total of 9 in that box. He's to 31 in this game. Missed an opportunity to help his cause with just 5 in the fill. Started this second game down 14 to the reigning champ, Steve Renaud. Champ gets the luxury of going second in the second game just to know what he's up against to defend his title.
Somewhat of a break there with the 2-pin going down, leaving the 3-6-10. Easy for me to say, but 2 pieces of tough piece to it out in front. Oh, just enough to catch that 3-pin. So he has 2 marks now up in this third game. Take a look. It goes by the 3. Wood swings around, gets it from behind.
Steve in the third frame.
Half wish to right.
Got a bunch of half Worcesters so far today. Leaving the 2, 4, 7, 6, and 10 for his third ball.
Oh, disappointing 6.
7, a 9, and a 6. 3 open frames for Steve.
Lead is reduced to just 9. Plus, Gary has a mark already posted in the 4th frame. So Steve needs a mark. I heard somebody in the audience say that, and I'm sure Steve would agree. Oh, big 8-pin drop, but he leaves himself the 4 and the 9. Let's see what that would. Kind of shaking his head. Pretty good looking ball going in, but well, he's got a chance. He's got to catch some of that wood out in front, and hopefully it'll come off the wall or come in contact with a second piece of wood in front of the 9. Yes, nice shot. Matching marks. Here you see the replay. Very nicely done, Steve Renaud. Tough mark, especially under the circumstances. Gary's making a run at him. Full hit, but he drops 9. Got away with it.
Looking at the 10 for 2 consecutive marks. Got it. So here we go. Chance for a $50 bonus. Mark in the 4th, mark in the 5th. Can he do it again in the 6th? In fact, he's marked in 3 of his last 4. 3 spares. 2, 4, and 5.
Oh, boy. Seems like just when they get the 2 marks in a row, they put the ball in there. It looks like a pretty good ball, but not an easy spare leave with a 4, 5, 7, 8. Piece of wood out in front. Can he use that anyway? Oh, no. He tried to slap the triangle off the wall and clear out the 8-pin almost. But again, no bonus money. $76 through 6 frames for our challenger, Gary Carrington.
Steve with a fill here in the 5th after getting a spare in the 4th. Fills it with 4. Another disappointing fill. Gary had 1 of 5 earlier. 4 now for Steve, and he will be open.
This match is going to be pretty tight after this box. Lead is swung the other way for Gary Carrington now.
It was 14 in the favor of Steve Renaud, but a 21-pin advantage in this game as Gary up 7. From 14 down to 7 up. Can he get the 4 horsemen for the mark?
Piece of wood in between the 3 and the 6. See if that helps. Oh boy, left the 6-pin.
Needs to get the 10 box to not lose any in count. Got it. So that lead stays at 7 pins for Gary Carrington, looking to knock off the champ Steve Renaud. Final 4 boxes to come on the CN8 Candlepin Challenge. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in our coverage of the CN8 Candlepin Challenge. The 5 in game 2. Key so far for Gary as he has gone into the lead. No on the strike. Nearly, though, and a good chance for a spare.
Leading by 7. This is what he wants. Put at least 1 mark on in one of his 2 frames, and he's going to have a shot at the 10-pin. Play the wood. Oh, and the ball came back. Whoa. I'll take it, Gary says. I'm sure you will. Watch the wood, both pieces of wood. How does that happen? And here comes the ball back.
Thank you very much.
Once the ball touches a fair piece of wood, that ball can do anything it wants. It's still legal. Now Steve's going to have a chance. The 3 and the 6. Almost a must. Running out of frames.
Real good opportunity.
That's what he wanted, but he definitely has to put one up here because Gary has one posted already. Trailing by 7.
He'll have a good chance. 2-4-7 on the left side.
He's got to be thinking 2-pin. You missed the 2-pin, chances are you're not going to make the mark. Yeah, caught it. Still alive, trailing by 7. Gary can't let up now.
Big Phil. Box 9.
Just a 6, Phil. Piece of wood could help him. Yes, 2 in a row.
Consecutive spares. Another chance to get that $50 bonus.
You see, head pin goes down and does a damage on the 7-pin for the mark. Decent fill and another mark would force Steve, our champ, to probably throw a double strike somewhere along the line here in the final 2 frames. Oh, boy.
Oh, he's making it tough.
A $50 bonus right there.
3 in a row. Spare strike. 50 extra bucks for Gary.
And if he can throw another mark here, we'll give him another $50. So Steve is definitely going to have to come up with some strikes.
There's a chance for the spare. Get him to $100 in bonus money. $141. What a terrific score in game 2.
262 total. Steve would need a 127, I believe, to tie, 128 to win. So he's got a long ways to go.
This is an important fill to begin with. Just 5. 9 in the back with the 4 horsemen left.
And I believe that will do it. Even if he threw a triple strike in the last frame, it won't be enough. So we'll have a new champ in Gary Carrington.
Six marks for Gary in that second game. Finished so strong. Spare strike.
Next week coming in would be John Zappi and Sean Baker. So 2 accomplished Candlepin bowlers in their own right. Been on the show many times, both of them. So it'll be a formidable opponent, whichever one gets through that challengers match for Gary Carrington. It'd be nice to see Steve throw a couple more strikes. We'll give him $50 there, and we'll enter his name into the triple strike pool. Oh, almost stole the second one. Get over.
$262 to $245. A big swing towards Carrington in game 2, and he is our champion. Back to wrap it up from Woburn right after this on the CN8 Candlepin Challenge. Back for the wrap-up with our new champ, Gary Carrington. A 17-pin victory for you, and you really made a statement down the stretch. Got the $50 bonus with those 3 marks in a row to cement the win.
On the finish, it was close string. It was 7 pins going in. We're both on marks. Stevie just made a key mark there. I knew I had to fill it up and put a little pressure on him, just to get by. And it happened.
I thought you were going to ask Helen Fellows if you could buy that strike from her.
That was great. That was the greatest ball I ever seen. One ball. That was awesome. Loved it.
Magical moment, and of course, congratulations to you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
That'll do it for the CNA Candlepin Challenge. We'll see you next week, too. Thanks for watching.